Li was a young monk who lived in a small temple in the mountains. Though he had studied the sutras thoroughly, his heart still sought the ultimate truth. He yearned to understand the essence of life and gain spiritual awakening. One spring morning, with wandering staff in hand, Li set out from the temple to begin a journey of discovery. He followed the winding mountain path under the quiet, whispering pines, his mind immersed in silent contemplation. Li traveled for many days until he arrived at a great river blocking his path. He approached the shore, wondering how he would cross to the other side. Suddenly, he noticed an old man in a boat approaching. The ferryman rowed his boat near Li and stopped. Looking directly at Li, he asked, "What do you seek?" Li replied, "I seek the truth." The ferryman nodded and said, "I will take you across if you can answer this. What is the sound of one hand clapping?" Li was puzzled by the strange question. How could he clap with one hand? Li pondered the ferryman's riddle for several days and nights, but could find no answer that satisfied him. He observed the murmuring river and whispering trees, but they yielded no insights. Even deep meditation could not unveil the truth behind the bizarre question. Li returned to the ferryman and said, "I cannot solve your riddle, but please still take me across the river." The ferryman shook his head and said, "When you can tell me the sound of one hand clapping, I will ferry you over." Distraught, Li sat by the river in silence. As he sat in the stillness, watching the sun sparkling on the water, the sound of a fish splashing suddenly broke the silence. In that moment, Li attained deep realization. He understood that the sound of one hand clapping is just the sound of that splash. All things in the universe make up one glorious harmony. The next time the ferryman saw Li, he noticed the look of enlightenment on his face and smiled. Li spoke with joy. "I know now that all of nature's sounds together make up the sound of one hand clapping." The ferryman nodded and said, "You may enter." As Li crossed the river, he felt his heart at peace, having found the truth by listening to the world around him. Li traveled on with a deep sense of interconnectedness with all beings. He realized that the truth is not grasped, but lived every moment, if we can open our senses to life's simple harmony all around us. This is Narrative Dreamscape. Thanks for watching.